Girivara Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Girivara Dari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivara Dari Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Muna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivagacharya Astatapa Srimad His Divine Grace Aisa Bhaktivedanta Manor Prabhupada ki. Iskon Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Prem se go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Chamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki. Mayapur Dhamma ki. Navadip Dhamma ki. Ganga Maya ki. Yamuna Maya ki. Tulasi Deva ki. Bhakti Deva ki. Samavita Bhaktavinda ki. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru Garanga. All glories to Prabhupada. Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text number 76. You can please repeat after me. Rajan Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshavarjunaha Yano Keshavarjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Rajam Samsmrityam Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Idam Imam Adbhutam Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayo Punyam Kesham Arjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshav Arjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshav Arjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhu Rajam Samsmritya Samsmritya Samvadam Imam Adbhutam Keshav Arjunayo Punyam Rishyami Cha Muhur Muhur. Synonyms. Rajan, O King. Samsmritya, remembering. Samsmritya, remembering. Samvadam, message. Imam, this. Adbhutam, wonderful. Keshava, Lord Krishna. Arjunayo, and Arjuna. Punyam, pious. Rishyami, I am. Taking pleasure. Cha, also. Muhu, muhu, repeatedly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Manor Prabhupada Ki. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Purport. The understanding of Bhagavad Gita is that so transcendental that everyone is so transcendental that everyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous, and he cannot forget such talks. This is the transcendental position of spiritual life. In other words, one who hears the Gita from the right source directly from Krishna attains full Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened, and he enjoys life with a thrill, not only for some time, but at every moment. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananam Shalakaya Shakshuram Minitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swaram Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Rugunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vikakam Vitam Sha Vanshakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhuvaevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavejo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you for coming everyone to this Bhagavad Gita class. I will just speak a few things from the Gita. So this 18th chapter, the last chapter, and this is the next. It's one more verse, 77, and then 78, and then Bhagavad Gita is will finish. So this is a multi-discussion between. There is a multi-discussion in Bhagavad Gita. There is Krishna, Arjuna, as we know, is famous, but there is also Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra. So actually, if you know from the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, then Sanjaya is explaining to Dhritarashtra what is happening on the battlefield. And the mentality of Sanjaya is that he is explaining to Dhritarashtra Bhagavad Gita, and Dhritarashtra is, as we know, envious of Pandavas and like that. But Sanjaya's mentality is, you could say, happy. Because actually what he is doing, he's actually preaching the message of Krishna to Dhritarashtra. So that's the glory actually of teaching Bhagavad Gita. One can, you're, even though maybe, it's basically glory of the preaching. And there is no thrill. So Sanjaya has a thrill, as it's explained in the translation. And so basically everyone's thrill, and everyone is searching for happiness, as we probably all of us is doing to some extent at least. And where we are searching happiness is basically four things. This is eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This is four principles which we are acting in this world. But actually, we cannot get any happiness from this. And Bhakti, it looks at the same. Bhakti looks at you eating, prasadam, you're sleeping in the night, and you're having sexual intercourse, you're trying to get Krishna conscious children, and you also are defending in certain ways. But actually, this is on a transcendental platform. And the goal with the Bhakti is that you should get attached to Krishna. That's basically the goal. And to become attached, you need purity. as Prabhupada said, purity is the force. Srila Prabhupada himself, he was struggling a lot for 33 years before he came to the Western countries, and he spread this Krishna conscious movement. He was struggling a lot. There's so many stories. I will not go into it, but there's a lot of stories about, Prabhupada. He was writing the books. He was basically living on nothing. And he was in Vrindavan, he was in Calcutta, he was all around India, and preparing for his journey to the Western countries to give us this Krishna consciousness. And but he had a clear mindset, because he rejected unfavorable things and he accepted favorable things. I was thinking I would just read something from Nectar of Instruction with regards to rejecting unfavorable things and accepting favorable things. So maybe you heard this. This is text number 2 in Nectar of Instruction. Atyahara prayasisya prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangasya lobhyam cha sabir bhaktir vinasyati. So basically the translation is, one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. So number 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Number 2, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Number 3, talking about unnecessary mundane subjects. 4, preaching the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Number 5, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. So this is the things you should try to avoid if you want to progress in Krishna consciousness. But you also, of course, need to see the other side, the things that you have to do. So that's the Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3. It's Utsaham nishad diryachat tat karma pravartanat sangat togyat sato vrete sabir bhakti prashati. So the 6 principles which are favorable for devotional service are the 6 things. These are the 6 principles favorable to execution of pure devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5, abandoning the association with non-devotees. And 6, following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. The 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So one must follow these principles, and at the same time one must keep this faith. Actually, faith comes before you can even start to practice. I mean, generally faith comes before you start to practice these. Try to follow these principles and try to reject the not favorable principles. And everyone in this material world, because we are in this material world, to a certain extent we are sinful. And actually everyone in this material world, you could say, except there's some exceptions, but generally speaking, everyone from the lowest planets to the highest planets are here for some, they have made some sinful reaction, and they are envious of Krishna. So one can, speaking about these planetary systems, there is Brahma Loka, Shri Brahmaji. He lives there, and he is enjoying his life as a very opulent life. But anyway, he will also have to leave his body. And in this, we can see also this in this world we are living right now. They are trying to go to other planets. They're trying to develop such and such things here and there. But ultimately, Gokulananda ki jai. Shri Shri Ram Lakshmana Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So yeah, they try to go to other planets. They try to develop this society. They try to develop so many things, but still, Janma Karma Mrityu. There will be death, birth, there will be disease, and there will be old age. And it doesn't matter where you are in this universe, you will have to suffer these consequences of these effects. But what we are shown in this Bhagavad Gita is that we can go to Krishna's planet. Goloka Vrindavan, maybe you heard of. And anyone can go there. We just have to cultivate the desire to go there and not stay in the ignorance which we are bound in this world. There is one verse in Bhagavad Gita which explains a little bit how from this point of view you will go to next destination. It's called Yanti Deva Vrita Devam, Priti Yanti Priti Vritaha, Bhutani Yanti Bhuchenya, Yanti Madhya Jajino Pimam. So basically the translation is, those who worship the demigods will take birth amongst the demigods, and those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. So Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad Gita. And we have a book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. It's explained there that there is, in this world, there is 8,400,000 of species of life. So there is plenty of opportunity if you have the desire for a certain species to become that species. If you like flesh, you will become a tiger. If you like to sleep, you become a tree, and etc. So the question may be why should we want these perishable things? They are so temporary, but we don't know. For some reason, we have this desire to lord it over material nature, and that's why we are in this situation. But if we want to go to the supreme planet, there is always Goloka Vrindavan. Doors are always open to us. It's just a matter of we have to desire to go there, and we also have to follow what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita to be able to go to this. So Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Paritaya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Yame Mashuchate Shushahi. How is it? Suchaha, yeah. Suchaha, thank you. So it translates in this: abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So you just have to follow the instructions of Krishna. They are very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. And just give up this material concept of life, which is very much deep-rooted in our hearts since millions of lifetimes. So Krishna explaining also in the Bhagavad Gita about his planet. I was saying that this Jaya Radha Madhava song, which we are singing first, this also is explaining a bit about actually Goloka Vrindavan. So, as you know, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. So actually, if you don't know the translation, I will read the translation. So they explain there that Krishna is the lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is the lover of the coward maidens of Raja, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of mother of Yashoda, the delighter of the inhabitants of Raja. He wanders in the forests along the banks of river Jamuna. So people don't understand that this Krishna Loka, Vaikuntha, and Goloka Vrindavan exists, and that there is an option after this life. You can choose if you want to go there, if you don't want to go there. It's just a matter of cultivating and I would say you have to come to a certain point. Many people, they don't understand that there is even a soul. And it's very difficult in the first place to even think of going to Goloka Vrindavan if you don't understand that there is a soul. So, which is Krishna is also explaining in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the first verses. Dhinosmin yata dehe komaram javaram jara tata dehantara praptir dirastat pranamujate. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So yeah, this life is this is a preparation for the next life, and maybe eternal life, maybe continuation of this eternal cycling of samsara, as we know. And one has to, even though one understands this, one has to also make some tapasya in able to achieve the desired goal. And it's not easy. May sound easy, but it is. It's a little bit tricky. It's both easy and simple at the same time. But that's how it is. It's subtle and gross. Subtle and gross obstacles which you have to fight with, in able to be able to clear yourself, so you will be able to go back to Godhead. And material desires, they have to change to spiritual desires. We have many material desires, such as get a new phone, get a new car, I don't know, become the new president, so many, etc. So many different things. But these are desires. Okay, the natural constitutional position is we want to desire. We have the desire, but we don't know what we should desire. So yeah, we should just change these to spiritual desires. And yeah, it's just very important to not waste time to just try to fulfill these desires which will not be fulfilled. These material desires, actually, they may feel that you kind of remove you may satisfy, it feels that you satisfy the desire of happiness or something like that, but actually it in just a short time, then it will come again, the desire to more and more and more and more and more, never ending desires. Because it's explained that if you not take the Krishna consciousness, then you actually take drinking poison. There's one song of Narottam Das Thakur, maybe you heard this. This is Hari Hari Bifale Janma Gonaimo Manusya Janma Paya Radha Krishna Na Baya Janiya Suniya Bishakaino. So translation is, O Lord Hari, I spent my whole life uselessly, having obtained a human birth and having not worshipped Radha and Krishna. I have knowingly drunk poison. So Arjuna, as we know, Arjuna is in the Bhagavad Gita, he's the character there, Arjuna and Krishna. So Arjuna, after some teachings from Krishna, he finally understood, after some teaching from Krishna, like this one, Janma karma shame divyam evan joviti tattvata jakvadeham punah janma naite mamete sojunaha. So Krishna is saying, one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Then Arjuna, after getting the teachings from Krishna, he's saying then, Arjuna vacha param brahma param dhamma pavritam paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevan ajam vibhum. So Arjuna is saying, you're the supreme personality of Godhead, the ultimate above, the purest, the absolute truth. You're eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. And all of the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now yourself are declaring it to me. So if you want to understand these topics which are in the Bhagavad Gita, we have to, as Arjuna did, follow Mahatma. Okay, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we have to follow a great personality, a great soul. And we have to inquire. It is, I don't know, famous verse in the Vedanta Sutra, Aham Brahmasmi, that I'm spirit, like that. So we have to come to this understanding that I'm a spirit, and I'm not this body. Prabhupada was saying, I'm not the Indian, I'm not Mahatma Gandhi. Brahma is, basically I'm not this body. We have to get rid of this bodily concept of life. Because why work so hard for this body, to sustain this body, and you don't know what will happen in the next 200 years. After 200 years, you may be, you will basically not be in this body any longer. So it's very important just to focus on to see the long term of, let's say, our existence. And if you want to, if you want to accept Krishna, I was already telling a bit. If you want to understand Krishna, you need to actually approach someone who knows about Krishna, and really with inquisitiveness, you have to ask him, as probably many of you know this verse also. Tadvidi panipradena pariprashena sevaya upadekshantite jnanam jnanitattva darshinaha. Krishna is saying, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So basically, you should, to be able to experience what is written in the Bhagavad Gita, you have to taste it. As if you have a honey bottle with honey, you can look at it from the outside, and people can say to you, okay, this tastes like this tastes like this. But actually, how do you know how the honey tastes? You actually have to open the lid and taste it. It's the same thing with all the teachings and everything which is written in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Purana, we have Srimad Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses, and the whole Vedas. You actually have to learn from it, and then you have to actually put it into practice, because otherwise you will never understand what's actually in there. So how do you put this into practice? There is a small sacrifice, as I also mentioned before. Small sacrifice needed. You cannot just speak about it like table talk, chit chat like that. You have to actually put some dedication and try to put it into real practice, all the teachings which we learn from Bhagavad Gita. And actually what the goal is of this movement we have here, this ISKCON society, is we try to inspire more and more people to take up to this Krishna consciousness, try to make more people devotees. And because this is the most confidential knowledge actually, so many are missing out on. Let us see. Yeah, we have, maybe you know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there in the middle of this picture. He's the one who started this movement, Harinam Sankirtan movement, and he said that we should spread this to every town and village in the whole world, because the world is very materialistic, and as I already mentioned before, defects with materialistic life. We just have to change from this materialistic. Materialistic life is not. It's generally there will be impiety in it. So we have to cultivate to more pious life, which is also explained in this Bhagavad Purana. Is one verse they're explaining. Srimatam Svatata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridya Antavastiyo Vadrani Viduni Surit Satam. Thank you. So the translation is Krishna, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly chanted, heard and chanted. So we have quite simple, let's say, principles which are given, which are let's say following these instructions which are given in the Vedas, in the scriptures. So we have 4 things which are we should try to avoid these things to to be able to not how do you say, not make basically sinful reactions, not to make sinful reactions. And these are, we should not do illicit sex, we should not drink alcohol, we should not smoke, and we should not eat meat. Intoxications. And we should also, most importantly, we should chant 16 rounds. So there is do's and don'ts. And if you do this by practice, takes time and a lot of guidance also, then there will be some result. Things will start to become revealed to you. And these designations which we have, which I explained, these materialistic designations, I think I'm Swedish, Indian, all these temporary designations, young, old, child, whatever, this will, after some time they will disappear. I will also, just to conclude this small presentation, I will just read from Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. It's basically the 9 different processes of devotional service, which is laid out. So the Sanskrit is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevayam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. So the first principle, which we try to we try to do it the most here, is hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So basically chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, hearing about the Bhagavad Gita, hearing about the other scriptures, and chanting His glories, remembering Him, and then serving Lord's feet. And then we worship the deity. We have the deities here since many, many years back. Now, I think this year is 50th anniversary. So we have worshipped these deities for 50 years now. And offering obeisances unto the deities. You see, when I'm coming to the temple, we offer obeisances. And then acting as the Lord's servant, not thinking oneself to be the Lord, but acting as a servant. Making friends with the Lord. And then number 9 is surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. So that's basically the 9 processes of devotional service, which you can read more about in the Bhagavad Gita, and you can understand it and put it into more practice. Yeah, I will finish my small presentation here, and if anyone has something to say, you can say something. Otherwise, we will. In 9 minutes, there will be Gaurartik, which we will sing the Gaurartik prayers, and we will have some kirtan, and then Nishinga prayers, and then we will have some Mahaprasadam, which will be served afterwards. Otherwise, we can also do some small kirtan now also, if no one has nothing to say. Yeah, some questions or something. You can ask.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You were mentioning in your class, thank you for the class, you were mentioning in your class that we have to get rid of this conception of this material conception in our hearts, which is deep-rooted in the heart. You mentioned that.
Right.
And this deep-rootedness is not only in this lifetime, it's many lifetimes. So it seems that the odds are kind of not in our favor. It seems like a very hard road to go through, because sometimes we may be doing things and we know what's good, but then as Krishna says in the 3rd chapter, sometimes it feels like we're pushed to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to be the solution to this? And sometimes we're impelled to do some things, but we're not, we know it's good for us, but we know it's going to be bad for us, but we're still impelled.
We're still impelled to do the bad thing.
And what would be like the solution to the cleansing of the heart?
So, main thing is just we should try to, in any way we can do, try to cultivate the desire to be more determined in our practice. So, this you can do, like I was in Switzerland the last spring, and then one Prabhu, he was giving the Bhagavad Gita classes there, and he was saying to all the questions which you ask how, the answer is just equals to associate with the people who has these qualities which you are asking for. So yeah, it's very important to associate with people, devotees, who has managed to, yeah, changed. I mean, who managed to be able to control their senses basically. And it may be not easy. You don't maybe not have contact with people directly like we have now. We have a small gathering here, so you can always, now we have our smartphones and everything. We can always listen to something which will inspire us, and it's basically the first thing in devotional life is just to listen. Just listen and try to be sincere when you're listening, not to find faults and not to try to think that, yeah, you know better or something is wrong here. Of course, you have to be also be little bit you have to also be able to question. Also, you don't accept blindly. Just you have to be able to also be a little bit doubtful, and if you have some inquiry, then you can inquire to someone which is representative of the philosophy like that. But yeah, generally we try to just change the desire. We know, okay, maybe we have desire, you explained, we have the desire, but we still try to do something, devotional practice, but still we are kind of affected by the mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance, basically. So it's a whole life practice like that, yeah. I'm not realized in controlling my senses, so I cannot speak by experience. But I heard something. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I also want to mention on top of that it's also to take shelter of a spiritual master will also help you to not feel forced by doing bhakti, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also that you should try to do service, and there's many ways of doing service.
Yeah.
Even in our daily life, we work and we do different activities. Rather than doing those activities for our own enjoyment, we should try to utilize it as service to the Lord. Whether it's our day-to-day job or our daily activities.
Mm-hmm.
So everything should be done as service.
Right.
We should try to cultivate that sort of procedure in our life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I feel like that would help us, to develop the faith and enthusiasm to carry on doing bhajan and not thinking of it as being forced, rather
Right.
doing it without the forcefulness, rather doing it and being happy while doing so.
Mm.
But sometimes we do need to force ourselves to do
Mhm.
because it's like you're cleaning your heart.
Clean heart, yeah.
Sometimes you'd have to take, someone gives you medicine, you take it and it might not taste nice, but at the end you're recovering. So
Mhm.
some things when they're given to you, they might not taste good, but
Right.
they're actually healing you. So
Definitely.
we should remember that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So something I wanted to add on to that is that one good motive for doing service, because we can question, is like, oh, well, why should I do service? Why should I do service? Or why should I do this? It's actually for our own benefit. It's not that, and it's Srila Prabhupada reveals in Bhagavad Gita, and because Krishna requests do service. I think it's that verse, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam,
No.
I think in the purport of that verse.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, Prabhupada explains that Krishna doesn't actually need us to serve him because he's self-sufficient, he's self-satisfied, everything comes from him. He doesn't need anything.
Right.
But what Krishna does want is loving exchanges from us. And by engaging in some service, as I've realized in like the past 5 weeks staying here, is like by devotional service, you start to realize how it is just for your benefit. Krishna
Yeah.
doesn't need you to
Krishna
service,
doesn't need you.
but he asks you to do service because he knows it's for your ultimate benefit.
Mhm.
Therefore, he requests, worship me,
Worship me.
surrender unto me, because it is actually for our benefit.
Right.
Just like our father may try to encourage their child not to play with fire, even though the child may want to play with fire, but if they don't know how dangerous fire may be,
Mhm.
and they but if they get burns on the child's accord, but the father still tried to
Right.
advise. It's like
Yeah,
that.
it's good example. Yeah. No, thank you very much. It's
So the devotional service to the Lord is actually for our benefit,
right.
for our greatest benefit than anyone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Grantarat Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Bhaktivedanta Prabhu ki jai.
Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai. Shri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai.
Ki bajayo jayo gora chander arati kasobha. Janavi tata ban Jagamana lobha Dake netajan Bame gadadhara Anikate advaita trini Basa chhatradhara Bose ache gorachan Ratna Simhasane The song lyrics on top right. Verse 3. Aroti kore na Brahma Adi Devagane Nara Hari Adi Kore Chamara Dhulaya Nara Hari Adi Kore Chamara Dhulaya Nara Shankha baje, gandha baje, baje karatala. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna
Premanande Hari Hari Om. So everybody can offer their obeisances to the deities, and then we'll say some pranam mantras, and then we'll say Jai after each key. So Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vidrajakacharya Astotra Sadashi Shrimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vidrajakacharya Astotra Sadashi Shrimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Sri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Sri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Sri Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Sri Gangamai Yamunamai Bhakti Devi Ki Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Samavela Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So everybody can stick around. We will have one more prayer. It is called the Nrsimha prayers. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan is pictured right there. And we'll just offer prayers to him. And then we will have prasadam afterwards. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Hare
Only for my purification. It's not for... It's better I throw a fish to the wall. Actually, I don't want to do but I don't want to go out. Go for it. It's pure.
That's the one that Prabhupada was talking about in the reports? Yeah. You're the one who doing 7 days.